Here's a real example. A dermatologist in California made it a habit to log into QuickBooks and their bank website every month and check transactions. One month, he noticed a recurring payment to a vendor he didn't recognize. It turned out that his office manager had created a fake vendor account and was paying herself a little extra each month. Because she kept the amounts small, $500 here, $800 there, it went unnoticed for over 2 years, costing the practice nearly $50,000 before he caught it. And the only reason he found out? He logged in and looked around. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where you can find experts, answers, and resources so that you can achieve mastery over the financial and business aspects of your practice. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jill Arena. I began my career in accounting and finance, and I have more than 30 years of experience running medical groups. I own and operate a national healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company, and I am the author of Physician Heal Thy Financial Self. In 2020, I co-founded the Physician Leadership Project, and my passion is to increase financial and business literacy for physicians. Episode 118, Internal Controls Made Easy. 2 things you can do today to thwart would-be embezzlers. Welcome to today's episode, where we're going to talk about something that isn't fun to think about, but is absolutely essential if you own or manage a medical practice: internal controls to prevent embezzlement. Now, before you think, oh, that's not something I need to worry about, let me hit you with some numbers. The Medical Group Management Association estimates that 83% of medical practices will experience employee theft at some point. 83%. That means if you own or manage a practice, the odds are not in your favor. The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners reports that the median loss in healthcare fraud cases is $100,000, and many of these thefts go unnoticed for years, sometimes even a decade or longer. Let's put that into perspective. Imagine working hard every day, treating patients, managing staff, and keeping your practice running, only to find out that over the years, a trusted employee has been skimming money right out from under you. It happens all the time, and it happens to smart, successful, well-run practices. Here's a real-world example. A family medicine practice in the Midwest had a long-time office manager who had been with them for more than 15 years. She was beloved by the staff and trusted completely. One day, a newly hired billing coordinator noticed a discrepancy in an insurance payment. It led to a deeper look, and eventually they discovered that over the course of 6 years, the office manager had stolen more than $300,000 by diverting insurance overpayments into a personal account that she controlled. No one suspected a thing because she was the one reconciling the books, making deposits, and handling payroll. The good news? You don't have to overhaul your entire financial structure to protect your practice. There are 2 simple things you can do today that will significantly reduce your risk. These are small, manageable changes, but they pack a huge punch when it comes to keeping would-be embezzlers at bay. The first one is that a physician owner must have full admin access to the practice's accounting system and online banking website and conduct a monthly financial review. Too often, doctors completely delegate financial matters. They trust their office managers or accountants, and while trust is important, blind trust is dangerous. Having full administrative access to your accounting system, whether you use QuickBooks, Sage, or another software, and your online banking portal is critical. You don't have to be a financial expert, and you don't have to analyze every transaction, but you should be able to log in at any time and take a look around. Here's why this works. The mere knowledge that the owner checks financials is enough to deter many would-be thieves. If no one is watching, it's tempting to steal. But if everyone in the office knows that Dr. Smith logs in every month to review financial transactions, it becomes much riskier to attempt fraud. The process is simple. Once a month, log in. Look at bank transactions, vendor payments, and payroll. You don't need to go line by line, just do a spot check. Scan for unusual vendors, look at recent payments, see if anything feels off. Here's a real example. A dermatologist in California made it a habit to log into QuickBooks and their bank website every month and check transactions. One month, he noticed a recurring payment to a vendor he didn't recognize. It turned out that his office manager had created a fake vendor account and was paying herself a little extra each month. Because she kept the amounts small, $500 here, $800 there, it went unnoticed for over 2 years, costing the practice nearly $50,000 before he caught it. And the only reason he found out? He logged in and looked around. Another case. A small orthopedic practice had a front desk supervisor who was in charge of handling petty cash. She would take out small amounts, mark them as office supplies, and no one questioned it. One day, the physician owner was doing his routine monthly check and noticed a series of cash withdrawals that didn't quite add up. Turns out, over 2 years, she had pocketed nearly $20,000 in cash withdrawals, just a little at a time. Think about this. Those thefts weren't caught by forensic accountants. They weren't uncovered in big, dramatic audits. They were found by a doctor taking 15 minutes once a month to log in and look around. If you do nothing else, set up admin access and make sure that everyone in your office knows you're checking. You're not micromanaging, you're protecting your business. You're listening to Medical Money Matters, a weekly podcast brought to you by Healthy Practices, a healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company dedicated to keeping our clients independent. Please reach out if we can do anything at all to support your practice. You can find more information online at healtheps.com. That's www.healtheps.com. Please follow or subscribe to get all future episodes downloaded as soon as they're released. The second internal control we want to discuss today is segregation of duties, making sure no single person controls an entire financial process. This is a fundamental accounting principle, but many medical practices don't follow it. When one person has too much control, fraud becomes easy. Segregation of duties means that no individual should handle an entire financial transaction from start to finish. Here's an example. Let's say you have a staff member who opens the mail and logs incoming payments. If that same person also deposits checks and reconciles bank statements, they can easily steal money without being caught. Instead, one person should log payments, another should deposit the checks, and a third, maybe the physician or an outside CPA, should review the reconciliation. Payroll is another big area of risk. If the same person who processes payroll is also the one reconciling payroll reports, they can easily add fake employees or pad their own paycheck without detection. The solution? Have a different person review payroll reports each month, or better yet, have the physician owner sign off on payroll summaries. These issues are not unusual. It's typical for us to see practices that have evolved from smaller groups to larger businesses, and the office manager has retained a lot of these functions as the business grows. Now you find yourself with a multi-million-dollar business and one person still in charge of too many functions to be safe. Here's a case study. A pediatric practice in Florida had a trusted office manager who was in charge of processing payroll. Over 5 years, she quietly gave herself extra bonuses, padded her hours, and even issued checks to fake employees. She got away with it for so long because no one else was reviewing payroll reports. When the doctors finally caught it, she had embezzled more than $200,000. Another case. A cardiology practice had an employee responsible for paying invoices. She created a fake medical supply company, submitted invoices for payment, and cut herself checks totaling more than $80,000 before she was caught. How did she get away with it? She was also the person reconciling the bank accounts. If someone else had been reviewing the bank statements, the fraud would have been caught much sooner. Even if your practice is small, you can still implement segregation of duties. If you don't have enough staff, consider outsourcing some financial functions, like having an outside bookkeeper, CPA, or consultant do your bank reconciliations. Even something as simple as reviewing payroll reports and vendor payments once a month can make a huge difference. So let's recap. The 2 simple things you can do today to protect your practice from embezzlement are: 1. Have full admin access to your accounting system and conduct monthly financial reviews. Let your staff know that you check. Even a quick glance each month can deter fraud. Number 2. Implement segregation of duties. No single employee should control an entire financial process. Separate responsibilities so that fraud is harder to commit. These aren't complicated changes. They don't require expensive consultants or massive overhauls, but they can save your practice thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're a physician owner, take 15 minutes this week to log into your accounting system. Look around, spot check payroll, review vendor payments. It's a small step that can make a huge difference. And if you'd like some external eyes and ears to do routine, brief reviews for you, please reach out to us at Healthy Practices. We're happy to help. Your practice is your business. Protect it. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Medical Money Matters podcast. Before you go, let me ask you, are you ready to take your medical group's coding to the next level? Because that's where Code Mastery comes in. Code Mastery isn't just another coding program. It's the ultimate physician-to-physician training solution to maximize your revenue and empower your physicians with the skills they need to code confidently and win the coding game. From comprehensive high-octane training to actionable insights, Code Mastery gives you the edge you've been looking for. Don't leave money on the table. Visit healtheps.com/codemastery to learn more and take control of your coding today. Let's transform your practice's financial future starting now. See you next time on the Medical Money Matters podcast.